everybody? Donny B, Learn Pro Recording. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Sunday, and it's Easter Sunday. So for those of us that observe, happy Easter Sunday, happy Easter. Hopefully everything's going well. Hopefully you're enjoying the spring. The spring is on the way. It's almost here. You guys in the Midwest, it's coming. It's coming. We got, we're hitting 70 degrees today, so we're doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. Hey, today I want to discuss something. We may have talked about this a little bit before, but I want to talk about something. This is kind of a touchy thing to talk about with some people if you're sensitive. Please don't be. These are basic studio etiquette rules and understandings. It should be, it's just common sense. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna make this downloadable. I'm gonna talk about a couple of these little things today. I am going to make this downloadable for you. Just go to www.learnprorecording.com/studio etiquette. Okay, make sure you spell the word etiquette correctly because that's one of my bigger problems. That's a tough word to get right, man. But once you do, you'll have this free PDF to download. Again, it's www.learnprorecording.com/studio etiquette. All right, let's get going. Let's discuss, ladies and gentlemen. So these are some basic understandings of for the engineer and the intern and the assistant, the apprentice. Dude, show up on time. If you're supposed to be at a place at a certain time, please show up on time. That's just courtesy. It's just the way you should do. You're going to get more work if you're consistently on time. We've talked about this on the last podcast too. We have a saying in this business: if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're fired. And this is so true amongst, especially interns, especially not necessarily interns, but more about the engineer. Once you're, in a position where you're running the session, man, the client is sitting here waiting for you to show up, and you're late, and you didn't call and let anybody know that you were going to be late, or you just didn't show up. I've actually had that happen, man, where an engineer just either he forgot or something came up, and whatever. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but dude, your grandma could only die once. You know what I mean? You can't use that excuse more than one time. Unless you got two grandmas, I guess, then you can only use it two times. But on the third grandma dying, it ain't gonna work out, man, because you've already used it twice. You know what I mean? So let's maybe not do that. Let's just try to be on time, or don't try an excuse. Even if you're going to be late, you can usually call the studio manager and say, hey man, sorry bro, there was a lot of traffic there's extra traffic. Look, we all live in Los Angeles and there's traffic. That's what happens. But you could call and say, hey man, sorry, there was extra traffic today. It's horrible. I'm going to be 15 minutes late according to my map. Can you sit in till I get there? That's different, than you just not showing up or showing up. I've actually had engineers just not show up, and that's not. You're only gonna do that once with me. Sorry. So that's really important that you show up. As an intern and assistant, we are depending on you to be here. I mean, you're on the schedule. You're dependent to be here, but it's not that big of a deal if you're a couple of minutes late because you're going to do whatever you're going to do when you get here anyway, so it's fine. But don't make it a habit to be late all the time and just not show up. As an apprentice and an intern, if you just don't show up and don't call and say you're not coming, then you're only going to do that once. There are other interns and other apprentices that would love to have the position of being in a recording studio to learn how to work in a recording studio. And I'm seriously, I have a list. I have a wait list of guys that are trying to get in, everybody trying to get in as an intern. And I'm not really going to do that as long as I've got interns. I'm not going to over inundate the interns. You can't have like 8 interns just hanging around the lounge eating your food. So, but yeah, if you don't want to be here, man, go away. There's other people that want to come in and be an intern and learn their craft for real, So anyway, that's the thing. So when you're allowed to sit in a session as an intern or an assistant, even as a engineer, man, don't make this device part of your session. put it on silent. Like right now, mine's on silent. I don't even need to look at it while I'm talking to you guys, okay? So this is important for me that I'm talking to you guys, so I put my phone on silent. I don't need to be distracted right now, you know? So as an intern, especially as an intern and an assistant, turn off the damn phone, dude. The worst thing you can do is be in the middle of a take with the band in the studio and the intern takes a phone call, you know, and it's his boo asking about where they're going to go eat tonight, you know. So don't do that. Just turn your phone off. At least turn it on silent, but yet better yet, turn it off. Better yet, don't even bring it in the studio with you. Leave it in the lounge, leave it in your locker, leave it on the desk, whatever. Don't even bring it in there with you, okay? Keep the chatter to a minimum when you're in the room with the engineer. If there's other people, if there's other interns in there, there's, you know, yeah, the client may ask you something, the client may want to talk to you, but don't just have a conversation while the engineer is trying to work and while the artist is trying to do stuff in the control room. You know, pretty much, you're lucky to have been invited to sit in to the session. A lot of our clients, a lot of clients everywhere don't want, a bunch of people in the room when they're trying to do this. This is their job, dude. This is what they're doing. You know, they're creating. So they don't want a bunch of people in there just talking and having a good time. And it's not a party. It is work. It is their career. It is their job. You know what I mean? So this next one's going to apply to everyone, man. Just stay positive. Be a positive influence in this studio. You know what I mean? If you're stressed or you're hungry or you're angry, man, or you're upset, you know, maybe your chick broke up with you, or maybe your dude left you hanging, whatever, man. Don't bring that into the studio. You know, this is a safe, creative space, and we try to avoid having those kind of attitudes going on in the studio while we're working. You know, while everybody's trying to be creative and things like that. So if you got problems and stuff like that, maybe leave that outside, or just call and not come in that day because you're stressed or you're having a bad day. You know, so. It's all about enjoying the moment of being in the studio. So enjoy the studio, okay? Let's keep, this is a good one, man, and this pertains to everyone again. Keep food and drink at a distance from things that look really expensive. Maybe not get too close to expensive gear with your bottle of water that is uncapped. I'm just saying, okay? If it looks expensive, maybe not go around it. Maybe not touch it if you're not familiar with it. Definitely keep your food and drink away from it, okay? So some studios have rules not to eat in the control room. We're a little lax in that, you know, if as long as you're respectful of the gear and you keep your food and drink away from it, I'm fine with y'all eating and drinking in the studio. Not really a big deal for me. But, make sure you clean up after yourself. I really don't want to have to go find chicken bones underneath the couch, 2 weeks from now, because I've been smelling something funky in the control room. So let's maybe try to avoid that. Clean up, be respectful of the gear, be respectful of the other people, things like that. Dude, as an intern or an apprentice, or even as an engineer, ask permission. Don't just assume, even as clients, don't just assume that this studio that you're in or the studio that you're in at the time has the same outlook on things that you have in your studio or other studios that you've been to. Basically, some studios such as this one, just to let you know, we are at ES Audio Recording Studios in Los Angeles, California. Technically, Burbank, Glendale area. The Valley, if you want to call it that. So we do have a no smoking policy here in this studio. So don't just assume that you can just spark up the blunt whenever you want to, and just ask. Just say, hey, do you guys allow smoking in the house? Oh, you don't? Oh, you got a great little patio in the back? Perfect. We're going to head out to the patio while you guys set up the next session. Boom. Just ask, okay? Dude, as interns and apprentices and clients and assistants, whatever, do not tamper with the equipment. Just don't touch the knobs. Don't touch the settings on things. Don't try to change the preferences on how things work. Don't try to, we all have a list of rules that we deal with when we're dealing with gear. Some of our gear is super vintage analog, and it's kind of sensitive to where the knobs go, and so maybe just ask if you want to touch something. Make sure you ask. We are also an analog studio, and what this means is that yes, we deal with computers, but we don't have controllers that control the software on the computer that recall itself back to where it was when you left it, when you saved the session or whatever. Our consoles are all analog, meaning that they don't have recall on them, and when you move a fader, that fader moves. It just stays there. It doesn't follow with the whatever digital DAW we're using. Okay, so I've actually had this happen, and it's kind of funny now, but at the time it was not funny. I was working on a mix. I had a mix out on my analog console, and we had a really excited intern. He was he's a good guy. I liked him. He was, he was here for a little bit, and then he moved on. I think he got an engineer position in Florida or something, so he moved over. But man, he was kind of excited, and I went to grab something to eat, and I was gone for maybe, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, and I was in the building, but I wasn't in the control room. I just left everything there. It's kind of my fault. I should have put a sign said don't touch. Whatever, but this overzealous intern he had done what we call zeroing out the console. Now, what the zeroing out the console means for us that don't know is that you put things back in the default position. You put all the faders down, you put all the knobs back to the center position, on the EQ and the auxiliaries and all this, but, he pulled all the tape off, and, we got to put tape on the console and write down what's on what channel, things like that. This guy took all the tape off and threw it away and zeroed out the console, and he was so proud of himself, dude. He was having a great day, and he came into the office where I was eating and just chilling for a minute, and he was so proud of himself. He's like, bro, I zeroed out the console for you, man. You should be really proud of me. And I was like, dude, I was in the middle of a mix. So basically, I had to start the mix all over, because once you move a analog fader from where it was, you'll never get it back exactly where it was, because you don't remember, you didn't take pictures, whatever. Normally, if we're going to finish a mix and we think we might have to come back to it, we'll take pictures of the console, leave it on the phone, or store those pictures with the session, whatever. I mean, that's kind of a workaround for having an analog console. But then at the others, I mean, we've talked, I don't want to get into a big debate about which sounds better, but there is no debate. Analog sounds better. Just keep it at that. So there's that. But no, look, so that's why I like analog consoles. But yeah, maybe not do that. Maybe ask the engineer first, or the engineer, like myself, I was the mix engineer on the session. I should have put a piece of paper, just said, don't touch in a mix. Put it on the console so that everybody knew, hey, don't touch anything because he's in the middle of a mix. All right, that's my bad. So, but it did happen. It was kind of funny at the time. It's still kind of funny, but, maybe not do that. Maybe ask. So if you guys are in that position, don't just, assume that the engineer's done with that mix. Ask the engineer first, okay? Now, here's another one, too. This might seem like a no-brainer, but, and this is a really difficult conversation to have with some people at some time. I mean, it's about how you smell. I mean, yeah, see, that's a difficult conversation to have. I mean, you're usually locked in a small room, not a super large room, but you're kind of locked in a small room with the door shut, with multiple people. There might be 5 or 6 people in that small room with you. The band's in there, the engineer, the assistant, whatever. Try to smell good. Don't be funky on either direction. Not too much cologne, perfume, and not being funky like you just came from the gym. You know what I mean? So kind of be neutral in the smell department. I think we talked about this on the last one, but again, this is something that's kind of important. Kind of one of the for myself included, I'm very sensitive to that. I'm very sensitive to smells and scents. If the cologne's too heavy, I'm going to get a headache, and that kind of thing. And if it's just too funky, I can't be around it, So there's that. You know what I mean? So we'll leave that one there. So, hey, for the clients, here's some for the clients. Also the engineers, if y'all want to listen in, it's totally fine. Look, again, for the clients, be on time for your session, okay? We are a busy studio. We're quite popular. especially now since the Grammy win. I mean, we're even more popular. We're getting bigger and we're getting more clients and bigger clients. We're dealing more with labels and things like that. So it's kind of important that you be on time for your session, because we might have a session booked right after yours. So if you only book, say, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., I might book somebody else at 7 in the same room. So if you don't show up until 5, you still got to be out by 6, because I got somebody right behind you. So you're missing out, not me. Okay, so if your session's going to take 4 hours and you don't show up for 3 of those 4 hours, I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, I really hate to do it that way, but I hate to, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to say that sometimes I've got a session booked right behind you. Now, I normally do leave an hour between sessions, at least an hour between sessions if I can. Sometimes they get butted right up against each other, which means that the client has a hard out. So in other words, you got to be out at 6 because I got another guy coming in at 6. So sometimes, very rarely does that happen, but it can happen, and it does happen. Okay, so just try to be on time. You know what I mean, and definitely show up, because we do charge a deposit for you to book the session, and then if you just don't show up for your session, you're going to get charged for that session anyway, even though you didn't show up and you didn't do anything. So now you owe the studio for the full session, and the studio kind of misses out 3 times on that, because you're probably not going to want to pay for it because you didn't use the session. But that's the terms that you agreed to when you booked the session in the very beginning. And then you're just never going to pay that money because you feel like you didn't use the session, you shouldn't pay for it, right? I get it. I mean, I understand it. But at the same time, you're missing out and I'm missing out, because now you're never going to pay that session. So we're not going to get paid for the time that was booked. The time that was booked, and this means that time was booked and I couldn't use it for anything else because you had it booked. If you just didn't show up, that's not really on me. I'm still going to charge you for the session because I could have had someone else in the room making the money that you are not now going to pay. So that's part of that. And then you're just never going to pay that bill, and then you're never going to come back to the studio. So I'm missing out more than once because I'm losing a client. You may have been here many times before. And now that you're not, now that I'm basically charging you for a session that you didn't show up for, you're just never going to come back here. You're never going to pay it, and you're never going to come back. So I lose twice, okay? And you do too, because now you can't come back to the studio until you pay that bill that you have. Hey, once you pay that bill, come on, man, let's do work. Not a problem. So, hey, as a client, and I mean, most interns and engineers don't invite other people into their sessions. Okay, unless it's their session, whatever. So we're talking about inviting other people to your session. Okay, dude, this used to happen a lot. Clients will come in, they want to book they book a 2-hour session, and they'd get here and then they'd call their homies. Yo, man, we at the studio, come through. Their homies would come through, and then their homies would get here, go, yo, call people, go, yo, man, we at the studio, come through. Dude, now we got our room is maybe, I don't know, Studio B, the cheap room, is maybe 150 square feet for the control room. It's not that big. It's like 9 foot by 10 foot, whatever. It's not that big. No, it's probably 9 foot by 12 foot. So, but still, you get 14 people in that little room, man, and it gets tough. It gets tight real quick. The air conditioner's working a little extra, But then you only booked a 2-hour session. You got 15 people here. It's quite distracting. So that's what I'm saying, man. We actually had somebody, I'm not going to mention who it is because y'all know who it is, but we had one client book, they booked the entire studio, all 3 rooms. Okay, they booked the entire studio, so which is fine. But dude, they brought 35 of their friends with them when they came in. They did book the whole day, which was fine. I mean, the studio got paid. The studio made some money that day. We paid rent that day. But bro, 35 people. I was not expecting that many people here. So it was just, I didn't have any assistants. I didn't have any interns. It was just me here. And it was tough, bro, trying to keep everybody, oh, you don't touch that. Oh, maybe move that cup of coffee away from the console, that kind of thing. So I was having to run around and make sure everybody was doing the right thing. And it was tough, man, because you're the guy. I think I had to clean the bathroom twice that day, but whatever, man. That's what happens, But yeah, if you're going to do that, let the studio manager know, hey, man, I might be bringing a bunch of people with me because I'm having a party, I'm having a release party, whatever. Just let the studio know so we can be prepared. Because that day for me was kind of rough, man. And this one's kind of, again, one of those tough things to talk about, man. Just don't waste our time. Don't waste your time and money. Look, this is our job. This is our career. It's as an artist, as a client, as an artist, you're coming in to do some work. Make this your job, man. Make this your career. Treat it as such. Be a professional and treat this as your career and as your job. If you come to the studio and you're just totally lit and you just want to goof around and stuff, that's totally fine, man. But, don't waste the time. Don't waste our time. We actually had a client one time. They booked an 8-hour session. They booked it was a 12-hour session, man. They booked the whole day. They came in, man, and just started pounding the Hennessy like straight, like 9 o'clock in the morning, man, just putting the Hennessy away. So by noon, both the artists were passed out. They're laying on the couch, sound asleep, Then about, 1, 2 o'clock, they woke up. And then they said, oh, we don't feel good, man. We're just going to go. Can we get a refund? No, you ain't getting a refund for that. I didn't pour the Hennessy down your throat when you walked in the door. That ain't on me, bro. So that was a tough one, man. That was tough. But hey, so yeah, don't waste your studio time, man. Come in prepared. Don't come. Look, things are going to be a little different in the studio because the studio is like a microscope. So you might be hearing things in the studio that you haven't heard when you're in rehearsals, or you haven't heard when you're, at home writing your song. But, definitely just don't don't waste the time, man. You're definitely not going to impress anybody by just, doing stupid stuff, You come in here and be ready to work. That's the whole thing, right? This should be your career. This should be what you want to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, yeah, just don't waste the time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste our time. Be professional. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to get anybody, again, not trying to make y'all mad, just trying to help out. So please don't be mad at me. All right. Communicate effectively with the engineer, as a client, as an artist. Communicate effectively with the engineer. Don't just do something like, yo, you're in the booth just doing this. I don't know what this means, man. What do you want? You want me to stop? You want a new track? You need some help? What does that mean? Talk. I can hear you. You got a microphone right there, man. You know what I mean? So even if you say things like, even if you say something like, it sounds kind of frumpy in my headphones. Dude, I know what the frumpy knob is. I've heard frumpy. I know what that is. But even then, you're kind of, at least you're communicating. You're not just doing this stuff. It's like, just try to communicate effectively, Be prepared. Don't come in and just, unless you want to come in the studio and write the song, that's totally fine. You're spending the studio money to write the song. That's totally fine. You know what I mean? So this is a big one, man. We've talked about this before. Again, we talked about this before. I talked about my calendar system here at this studio. Most studios have a similar system where they keep track of what's coming in at what time on what day. It's a simple calendar system, okay? So if our calendar system is automated, okay? Which means that when you book this, you book the studio online. You don't call, some people do call the studio, but I just refer them to online so that they could see. You have to agree to the terms and conditions. The last few years, you've had to agree to the COVID terms and conditions. We literally had to have you check that, saying you understand that you have to wear a mask and you have to be sanitized, whatever. Don't come here if you're sick, that kind of thing. You had to click a thing. Legally, we had to do this, okay? So you're agreeing to things like terms and conditions. All right, there are terms and conditions for clients in the studio. They're real simple, though. It's not really difficult. But you have to agree to that. So on that form, when you book the thing, it asks you the question. It says, hey, what are we doing today? What's going on? What are we trying to accomplish? So if you let the studio know, hey, I'm just bringing a vocalist. We're only going to cut vocals and maybe do a little mixing if we have some time. Not a problem, man. When you get here, I'm going to have a vocal mic up. You might even have a specific vocal mic that you want. I'm going to have that vocal mic up ready to go for you. Warmed up, all ready to go. when you walk in the door. That way I'm not wasting your time, you're not wasting my time, man. You're going to get here, we're going to jump right in on the session, okay? So I had one guy one time, he booked online. Online, he said, hey, where it says, where the question was, hey, tell us a little bit about your session, what you bringing in. So on the form, he put, oh, we're just going to be cutting some vocals and maybe a little guitar if we have time. That's what he put on the form. So he didn't specify a microphone, so a vocal mic. So I had a couple of vocal mics up. I knew they were doing a female vocalist. So I had a couple of mics that I think might be suitable for, and I was the engineer. So this is kind of different too. So I wasn't sure on which mic we wanted to use, so I had a couple of different mics up, ready to go. And I had a couple of mics on they said an acoustic guitar. So I had a couple of mics out and a DI in case the acoustic guitar, you could plug it in. So that's what that was. And then, so I was ready when he got here. He only booked a 2-hour session, okay? He booked a 2-hour session. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh, they're just going to cut a couple vocals, maybe a little guitar. Not a problem. Piece of cake, right? So I think it was a Sunday, so I didn't have any assistants. So I didn't bring in an assistant or an intern. It was a Sunday afternoon. Not a big deal. I thought, oh, it's real simple. It's just a 2-hour session. All I got to do is record some vocals and guitar. No problem. So they get here, and the guy comes in, and he's like, no, dude, I got a full band, man. I got drums, bass, 2 guitars, 2 keyboards, 4 background singers, and 2 lead singers. Bro, had you told me that you were bringing this stuff in, I would have had all this set up. It's Sunday. I'm not doing anything. I could just spend the morning setting up a drum kit and getting I could even have the tones done mostly, So it took me 2 hours to set up his stuff, okay? And the dude was upset. He was upset with me. Now he's upset because he actually said that, oh, you're just trying to get more money. Bro, I'm not here for the money. That's not my gig. You should have told me that you were bringing all this stuff in. I'm putting this on you. So the dude went and gave us a bad Google review. And in his Google review, he basically called me out, called me an asshole because I pissed him off, whatever. Whatever. At that point, it doesn't really even matter. And then he said in the thing that, oh, you're just trying to get more money out of me, man. No, I ain't trying to get more money. I need your $100 that bad, bro. No, I don't. I'm fine. So, but this guy he was just really not a nice dude, He kind of, had he advanced all this stuff, I would have had it all set up and ready to go. I'd have had all the mics up. I'd have had everything, the session built. When he walked in the door, I'd have been, all right, let's record. Boom. And we could have got the song done in 2 hours at that point. But so if you're bringing a full band into the studio, let people know. Just let us know in advance that you're bringing this much stuff in. You know what I mean? So, again, if you let us know, we're going to have things set up and ready to go. I have people that do this for me. I have assistants. I have interns. That's their job. I give them the track sheet. They know what I want on every instrument, and they know where to plug it in. They know how to set it up. Some of the more advanced interns and assistants can make the session for us. It's all done. When you walk in the door, we're ready to go. Let's press record. Let's do it. So that's all. If you guys advance your sessions, it'll make everyone's life a little bit less stressful and a little bit easier. Hey, I'm going to get up out of here, man. I hope, again, go download this PDF, study it, read it, check it out. Again, it's www.learnprorecording.com/Studio Etiquette. Again, /Studio Etiquette. Okay, so enjoy that. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. Hopefully you're enjoying the live. Every Friday this entire month, we've been going live. I got 2 more to go. The next live, I think, is going to be more about this stuff as well. So if you guys want to join me for that, it's Friday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you can, come on in, comment, ask questions. What we do on the lives is we usually teach for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then I just open it up for questions and answers. The other day, man, it was 90 minutes, dude. After the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I just opened it up to questions and answers, and I answered questions for an hour. So hey, come on in, hang out with us on the live. Get on my list. Download the, if you're not on the list, get on the list. Download the PDF that'll put you on the list, and then I email out the list on Thursday night, letting you know, here's the link. Click this, and you'll be right there on the live. Come on and join us on the live. Ask questions, comment, whatever you might need to do. All right, so we'll see you guys on the live. We'll see you guys next week on the podcast. Look for the blog post on Wednesdays, of course, and we are out of here. I'm saying we like I got somebody else here with me. It's just me, ladies and gentlemen. I do everything. I switch cameras. I read the thing. I talk. I look right at you. It's fun. Come on, man. We're having a good time. So, again, have a great weekend, what's left of it, and y'all we'll talk to you soon. Again, my name is Donny B. I'm with Learn Pro Recording, and I am out. Peace.